For this next video, I'm going to show you how you can use the vector icons that are provided to you through the Expo library. So first of all, if we go to this link, icons.expo.fyi, this will bring us to a page where we can do lots of searching, we can use filters and so forth. So let's say I was trying to find an image for a heart. We're going to see that there are a ton of hearts here. And you might find that you like one more than others. You might find that you want to stick within one font family, so that way you're consistent and you're not having to do tons of imports. If you click on filter, then we can filter down to different types. I'm just going to choose Font Awesome, because I mean, with a name like that, how can you go wrong? And I'm going to play around with the Heart-O, and the Heartbeat. All right, so let's say I were to click on Heartbeat. A couple of things. So first of all, this is giving me the exact code that I need to import this icon, as well as the code that I would use to render it within my page. So if I wanted to just straight only use this one icon, this is all that I needed, I could copy this line right here. And if I were to go into my file, I could paste that. And then if I were to copy this, I can come over here, and inside my view, I can paste that. And then if I pull up my emulator and I save, I'm going to see that I have that heart. And that's great. But this doesn't give me a whole lot of flexibility with it. And you'll notice that I have a lot of styling built in here. And so one of the things that we talked about in the last lesson was how to make custom components. And I like to make a custom component for my icons that I plan to use. So this here is just going through what I just showed you. But if we scroll on down here, you're going to see that I created my own icon button, and you'll notice that this is a lot more streamlined. It's more streamlined for a couple reasons. Number one, I can just pass in the name of the button that I want. So if we compare what we see here to all of this, here I've got the name of the font family. Here I'm just saying it's an icon button. Again, pick and choose what works for you. I just want to show you that you can do this. And you'll notice that I have this music icon, and then I have the search button, and one is pink and one is black. And the reason why the search button is pink was because I specified a color, and the previous one was black because that was my default. And then this is another custom component that I created where I am having text next to an image. So there's a variety of ways that we can play around with this. And so that's what we're going to play around with here. So you'll notice that this file, this icon button and icon text button, these are separate icon files that I created, or sorry, separate components. They are saved in my component folder. If you're looking at this and you're kind of confused, we went through how to do all of this in the lesson 4 notes. So you'll notice when you look at this that I've named my component my icon button. And the :react.fc is saying that this is a functional component, and it's going to receive props of type. And then this here is my props type that I've created. Again, because we're using TypeScript, we have to tell it what data type to expect for those props. And then I have my name and I have my color, and the color has this question mark colon, and that's basically saying that it is an optional parameter. And right here I am providing a default value. So if the user doesn't tell me what color they want, then my icon is going to be black. And then when they create an icon button, I'm going to return, and then what I end up returning here is a touchable highlight with an underlay color of yellow. And if I wanted, I could pass in an underlay color. I would just have to add another prop up here in my prop type, and then I can have another underlay color to specify with that prop name. Also notice that I'm using the array of styles right here, and that's so that I can specify what I want to be the main styles for the button, but then I can also allow that border color to be passed in this way here. All right, so again, this is all inside the notes that are linked on the video if you want to take this exact code. So let's go ahead and let's play around with this in my file. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to create a file for this my icon button, and then get some code ready. All right, so you'll see here that I have the previous Font Awesome that I had just typed in from the documentation. And I'm going to go ahead and create the my icon button, and I'm going to use that self-closing syntax. And I'm going to pass in the same name, that same heartbeat name. And when I save it, I'm now going to see it looking the way that I designed it with the circular border and so on. If I were to do another one of these, and let's just say I made it the regular heart, now I'm going to see another one. Now let's say I wanted to have them in a horizontal row. Well, the only way I can do that, well, there's a couple ways I can do it. Right now, they are just children inside my main container, and my main container doesn't have any flex direction telling it to be arranged differently. But let's say I wanted to have them in a horizontal row. Well, what I could do is I could create another container to go around them. And let's indent these. And then I'm going to give this view here a style. And I'll call this button row. And then now I'm going to go down to my button row style, and I'm going to set the flex direction to be row. And when I do that, you're going to notice that now these are sideways. Now, the font awesome is not inside there because it wasn't in the view. If I wanted that to be included in it, then I could go ahead and I could nest that inside, and now that's going to be part of it. Now you'll notice it kind of looks wonky because it doesn't have the same overall style as these buttons do, so I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this. All right, now let's say I wanted this button container to have its own background color. There's so many things that I can do here. Let's say I wanted to make this background color white. I don't know. Okay. And let's say I wanted it to be, have rounded edges. I could do the border radius, we'll say 5. And now that box has a little bit of a rounded edge. So there's lots of ways that we can play around with this. And like I mentioned in our previous video, when you're making these components, you want them to be in their own file inside the components folder. So you would just right click here and you can say new file. Standard naming convention, component should always start with a capital letter. And then we're going to have that .tsx because we are using TypeScript. All right, if you want to see the complete code, that complete code is inside of this notes document, and these are actually editable text fields. So if you click on them and say edit, you can actually select all of the code to copy paste it. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thank you.